Observe the child at this table. They are sitting perfectly still, not out of boredom, but out of necessity. Their focus is entirely on the blurred figure in the background, tracking every micro-movement. Most children take up space. They are loud, messy, and uninhibited. In this house, those natural impulses has been replaced by a quiet, watchful stillness. The emotional atmosphere here changes without warning. A parent might be affectionate 1 hour and entirely cold the next, with no clear trigger for the shift. The rules of the house change as quickly as the parent's mood. For this child, survival is an invisible act. It means learning to navigate the heavy, shifting weight of someone else's internal weather before it breaks into a storm. Safety is found in the details. The child moves with careful precision to avoid making noise. They study the parent's eyes and the set of their jaw, looking for permission to exist in the same room. This is hypervigilance. The brain is working overtime to map the room's emotional temperature, trying to anticipate a crisis before it happens. This quiet, compliant demeanor is a sophisticated survival strategy. By minimizing their own presence, the child attempts to stabilize an environment they cannot control. By high school, these tactics have become second nature. The child has grown into a teenager who carries a shield of absolute composure, moving through the hallways with a face that reveals nothing. They appear calm and deeply confident to their peers. Beneath that surface, however, the old radar system is still spinning, analyzing every laugh and every silence for signs of a sudden shift in the group. Connection feels like a liability. They pull away from genuine intimacy because their history has taught them that when people get close, the volatility increases. This diagram illustrates the insecure attachment expectation. Even when a connection is healthy, the brain triggers an automatic threat scan. It anticipates a betrayal that hasn't happened yet, leading to a withdrawal response as a preemptive strike against being hurt. The guard remains up because the foundational years provided a clear lesson. Human connection is inherently unstable. They stay prepared for the moment the floor disappears. In the professional world, this teenager becomes the perfect employee. They are composed, professional, and maintain a slight calculated distance from their colleagues and superiors. When they receive neutral feedback, they reflexively over-apologize. They are using a de-escalation tactic learned in childhood, attempting to pacify a perceived threat before it can grow. Even when the workload is crushing and the pressure is high, they maintain a mask of total control. They have learned that showing a crack in the armor only invites more instability. The adult brain has automated this suppression. Historically, losing control or asking for help never resulted in safety. It only made the room feel more dangerous. These patterns follow them into their most intimate relationships. They find themselves monitoring a partner's every sigh, waiting for the mood to swing, and adjusting their own behavior to keep the peace. Look at the anxiety response on this timeline. A flat line of peace feels like the tense silence before a storm. The brain seeks out familiar tension. We call this trauma-bonded homeostasis. The body accepts high alert as the only normal baseline it can trust. They adapt to relational instability because it is the only emotional language they are fluent in. Peace feels like a lie, but inconsistency feels like home. Alone at the end of the day, the mask drops. The rigid posture collapses, revealing a profound cumulative exhaustion building for decades. Carrying the emotional weight of everyone else in the room is a full-time job. They have spent a lifetime acting as a lightning rod for moods that were never theirs to manage. This is the reality of automated adaptation. These behaviors are the body executing the same defensive programming it perfected as a child, still protecting a version of themselves that no longer lives in danger. This distance is purely a biological response. It is the lasting architecture of an attachment style built on the shifting sands of an unpredictable home. Awareness brings a visible change. The shoulders drop, the gaze softens, and the adult begins to move through the world with an unguarded presence, realizing they are no longer responsible for the emotional weather of the room. The labels they've carried, aloof, hyper-independent, or too quiet, begin to dissolve. These traits were the custom-built armor of a child who had to be brilliant just to survive. They were the tools of a master navigator in a storm. When we see someone who struggles to connect, The relevant question is not what is wrong with them. The question is, what did they have to experience to make these walls feel necessary? Behavior is a form of communication that bridges the past with the present. It is the story of how a child survived and how an adult is finally learning that it is safe to put the armor down.